Ja nüüd on siis meil, läheme sellest programmist nüüd lähemalt rääkima. Hazelius, kes on selle programmi üks autoritest ja arendaja, saab nüüd sõna, et seda lähemalt tutvustada. Ja ka mõningaid uuringuid, mis selle programmi kasutajatega on läbi viidud.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Dennis, for this meeting. Really interesting. I will describe for you this Swedish intervention program called alkohol, talk about alcohol in English. It's financed and initiated 2006 by the Swedish Spirits and Wine Suppliers and the Brewers of Sweden. I'm going to go through the Swedish context concerning the youth and alcohol topic, and also see what other programs we have in Sweden. For example, EPP, or EFFECT as it's called now. I will also give you some information about the program, how it's built and the idea about it, and also mention our scientific evaluation we did 2010, give the results and conclusions from that. First of all, the Swedish context. If we look at youth and alcohol, in Sweden today, it's actually more girls than boys drinking in the age of 15 to 16 years old. So that has been changed over the last years. We can see that the consumption of alcohol has actually decreased from 2004 to until 2010. We don't know about 11, in the age of 15 to 17. We have considerable problems with the low-priced alcohol coming from the rest of Europe. And we also have a problem with binge drinking among, of course, we can say that it's all the Nordic countries, all people in the Nordic countries have that problem, but especially youth. We can also see that we have a historical problem with a lack of preventive actions in school. If we look at the Swedish intervention since today, we see that the focus is on social skills program and family skills program. Examples of this is the Örebro prevention program, which is the most famous, and that's a family skills program, as we call it. And we also have a Norwegian program, the Alveus program, which is a life skills program, and also SET, that's a social emotional training program. So this is how Sweden looked like if we look at the context we are working in. And if we take a closer look at our program, talk about alcohol, it's a school-based intervention program adjusted to compulsory and secondary school in Sweden. It's a teacher's workbook, and you can also use it free on the web. It looks like this. If we look at the purpose of this intervention program, well, first of all, we want to delay the age of alcohol. Secondly, we want to change attitude and behavior among youth. And we also want to reduce overconsumption and motivate responsible drinking. But we focus on delaying the age of alcohol. That's the most important, as everyone mentioned before. I also want to say that please feel free to interrupt with any questions. If we look at the program, this workbook, it's 3 sections: classroom activities, and as I said before, we promote life skills approach. It's divided into different educational level based on the consumption level among the students. Therefore, we can individualize the training as far as can. We have a short part with family skills program, which is about how do we involve the parents in this program. How can we engage them into this work, which the teacher are doing and the school are doing with the students. We also have a school policy program, and that's how we give them strategies how to involve the whole school and make this as a long-term engagement. Well, this program is self-instructive, so the teachers order it and they introduce it and use it on their own. But we also have training days in Sweden for teachers and social workers to inspire them to work with this question. As I mentioned before, it's actually the schools aren't working as much as they should with these sort of questions in Sweden. So they need to be inspired and educated how to deal with it. We organize additional activities to engage the students and the teachers as much as we can. Each year we conduct a short story contest where students write their own short stories about youth and alcohol. And each year we produce a short story book with all the best short stories. We also organize a campaign contest. This is within the topic of don't drink and drive, and we organize it together with the transport administration in Sweden. And I want to show you the last year winner. It's in Swedish, but I think you will understand the idea. I guess you understood the idea about it, and the thing is that they produce the music, the film, everything, and we get so many of these films. It's so great, such an engagement from the students and the teachers. It's so great to see. And this campaign was spread on the YouTube, but they produce like Facebook pages, web pages, blogs, anything that make them reach out to people, young people, about this kind of questions. So this is a really good example how we try to engage them even more, not only through these school classroom activities, but on in other ways too. So this program has so far reached out to 75% of all compulsory and secondary schools in Sweden. Approximately 5,000 teachers and 250,000 students have worked with it. The short story novel book has been ordered in 16,000 copies. And the program has so far been implemented in Finland and Denmark, as mentioned before, and now also in Estonia, as autonomous programs. That's important to mention. We have a lot of strategic alliances in different parts of the society within this program. And we have regional partnerships all over Sweden. We have a national partnership with the Swedish Transport Administration. We also have, or this program is used as a reference within the Swedish National Agency of Education in their team working with the youth and alcohol topic. We have collaborations with many schools and sports clubs in Sweden, and also have partnerships or collaborations with the Swedish National Association of Driving Schools, and the latest is the Swedish Football Association, which we are really happy for. We think that we are well known in schools, and we reach out to students through schools, but we think that sport clubs, if we can work through sport clubs, we can reach out to students or young people that might be more important to reach out to and are more difficult to reach out to through schools. So that's why we working through sports as well. So far, we think that this has been a success since the start, 2006. The main success factors, as we see it, is that the program is relevant to the target group. It's easy to use, and it's adaptive to local conditions. That means it's flexible. You can use it how you want it to be used, depending on how your local conditions are. It's cost efficient if it's for free, so it's really cost efficient. Yeah, no, exactly. We have a clear implementation strategy for schools, and we offer further education and training for teachers and social workers. And it's measurable because we know each teacher who has ordered this material, we can contact whenever through email or telephone. Each year we conduct a quantitative study among the teachers using this program. And the key results from this web survey from the last year show that actually 70% of the respondents think that this program can influence the students to delay the age of alcohol. 70% of the respondents also believe that the program leads to better attitude. And maybe the most important for us is that 99% of all respondents would recommend this program to colleagues in Sweden. To this, we conducted a scientific study, 2010, and we wanted to examine to which extent talk about alcohol can influence young people, not to consume alcohol, and to encourage young people who consume alcohol to reduce overconsumption, reduce risk behavior, and motivate to responsible drinking. We're going to go through some technical parts further on here, and we're going to do that quite fast. It's not really important right now, I think. First of all, I want to mention that the research team was with 2 independent research consultants and in cooperation and supervised by 2 scientists from Örebro University, Nicholas Kotakis, and Martin Stafström, who's from Lund University in Sweden. If we look at the basic study conditions, well, we did a pre-test in January, and 6 months later we did a follow-up test. We used an intervention group and a control group. The target group was 15 to 16 years old students. If we look at the sample and validity, well, we used the data collection was done from a random sample of teachers, selected from a list from teachers that have had ordered this material. We used 6 equivalent intervention and control groups in terms of size, demographic, social, and risk behavior. We used a student t-test to do the measure, and we measured it on a 90, 95, and 99 significancy level. We had some method issues, and this was, for example, selection errors, non-respondents, dropouts, and so on. Our study was done during a relatively short time, 6 months. So we can only discuss this result for this specific period. And the study was done on a group level, so this effect size for this result is really low, but anyway, interesting. So, the key results from this scientific study. Several results in the study argue in favor for this program to be an efficient intervention program. But first of all, we could not find any significant difference between the control group regarding delaying the alcohol consumption. The answer to this might be because we did it during such a short time. Nevertheless, we had some good results, and first, well, we saw a shift of greater awareness and a healthier attitude to alcohol in the intervention group. We also saw a less frequent alcohol consumption in the intervention group, smaller degree of risk behavior in the intervention group, lower degree of intoxication, and also a less frequency of intoxication in the intervention group, the group that had worked with the program, with their teachers. If we get all this together, we can also say that we get a sort of compound race, which give this even more positive effects. Next step for us concerning the scientific evaluation would be to do additional quantitative studies, but on the individual level. And if we want to improve this existing study, we would also want to do a quantitative study to examine if the implementation process was working. Did the teachers actually teach, or did the students learn what the teachers aimed to teach? Sort of, because that's really important to know, but it's difficult to handle. I think Nicholas Kotakis knows about that, about the early prevention program. Since it's grown so wide in Sweden, it's hard to know that it's implemented the right way all through. That's all for me.
Thank you. Kas on küsimusi?
maybe we should ask Nicholas if he's got something to add to this scientific study, since you supervise it.
I was happy to hear that you're planning a new intervention or evaluation of it. It's really important that it is done, because in that way you could also control for the flaws in the methodology done before.
Exactly.
And that would help you to get the effects stronger. But one thing that I was that didn't get through. I mean, I know the program and I know about the evaluation, but can you tell the audience how you connect the outcomes that you got? I mean, the reductions in problematic drinking or risky drinking, I don't remember the term you used, and what was delivered to the kids. How do you connect what you gave the kids in the program to the outcomes?
I actually have some figures to show that. If we go on here. Okay, you mean practically? Sorry. What we did, the teacher they had to make at least 3 to 4 lectures with the students. And if they didn't fulfill that, they couldn't be in this evaluation. So we took them away that didn't fulfill this thing. And so is that the answer to the question?
Yeah, so you have some kind of level, you know.
Yeah. We did a fidelity check, so we know if they used any other programs to this, or had any training during this period, and so on.
Yeah, because that's important.
Yeah, that's really important. I didn't mention that. No, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah.
Mul on natuke niisugust praktilisemat laadi küsimus.
Oh, sorry.
A practical question.
Mul on praktilisemat laadi küsimus, et mismoodi, et ma nägin ettekandest, et suur hulk õpilasi ja suur hulk õpetajaid on nagu selle programmiga töötanud. Et kuidas seda praktiliselt tehakse? Et kas see on mingi tunni raames, on see mingi inimese õpetus või loodusõpetus, või on see eraldi aeg, mis õpetaja viib seda programmi õpilastega läbi, et kuidas seda praktiliselt koolides teostatakse?
The program, it's up to the teachers how they want to work with it. They decide on their own. That's how the Swedish system actually works. The school system are really open. So we know that they use from 1 to 3 exercises, and we know that they spread this material to other teachers. Like, I think it's 1 to 4 other teachers in the same school they spread it to. So I don't know if that's the answer to your question, but how it's like 30 different exercises in the program, and you can use whichever you want. So it's usually case studies for the students. They work with cases and then present it to the class or the group. And the teachers aren't, working as ordinary teachers. They are more like helping them through the process. So it's the students working. It's not like a lecture. It's group work and case studies. Okay?
Kas ma saan siis õigesti aru, et tegelikult õpetajal on väga oluline roll selleks, et see programm tegelikult oleks tõhus ja töötaks? Et kuidas see õpetaja reaalselt, kui on erineva alkoholikogemusega lapsed ühes klassis, kuidas siis reaalselt õpetaja tegelikult nagu nendega hakkama saab? Et kui meil on 2 klassi liidrit ja nemad on tarvitajad, ülejäänud mitte, kuidas see reaalselt käib?
We've been trying to solve that as long as it's possible, as far because you can individualize the lessons by using the different steps. But of course, in the same class, it's impossible to go to all individuals. You need to be working with the whole group. That's a really tough question. Actually, it's impossible to practically solve that. But what we've been trying to do is that giving them the chance to individualize the lessons as far as possible. But since if you have a class or a group with 30 students, of course there are students with different perspectives about alcohol. Is that okay?
And I think that's why we are back to training, because I think it's very different from a traditional teaching lessons where you deliver a message down. I think all the techniques about vocational training, maybe I don't know if there are teachers here working more with adults, you can't really teach as you teach a kid. You have restricted time, and usually, and this is what we see when we do a lot of server training, we work with people who are working, who have left school long time ago. You have non-homogeneous groups, and you have precisely because you are a very skilled and talented teacher, you have to build your lessons precisely working on the experience of those who are in the room. So trying to leverage one information here to pass it on to the other one, and you have to be, it's probably much more tiring than normal lessons where you give the message top down, because you have to be very reactive on every you have to be reactive on what comes from the kids themselves to bring back the message that you have not forgotten which one it is you want to pass on to the group. That's why it's so much untraditional compared to a normal teaching lessons, I would say.
Nicholas.
Right now I am looking in the literature about what is out in the literature about what is evidence-based to do with the kids. Because we know a lot about the risk factors for kids to drink alcohol, but we don't know as much about what to do in the classrooms. But what we do know is that this kind of teaching that is in the literature called interactive teaching, that's the way to teach these topics. And actually not just these topics, it's true for maths and anything. So the interactive kind of teaching is the best teachings, but it's challenging because sometimes you will get into those kind of situations where you need to debate, but that's how kids learn best, by actually trying out different kinds of stances and attitudes and have to debate and discuss them. And that's also a way to actually convince the kids about what they thought initially might be problematic, or they can change, or things like that. Yeah.
Seal oli.
Mul on selline küsimus, et kui see programmiga alustati 2006. aastast, siis ja 2010 tehti esimene hindamine, ja kui 75% Rootsi koolidest on selle programmiga, seda programmi siis läbinud, siis miks te tegite hindamise alles 2010 ja miks oli interventsiooniklasse ainult 6? Teil on ju meeletu kogus õpilasi, keda hinnata, ja samas see aeg 5 kuud on ka nii lühike. Te oleksite võinud ju kohe alguses midagi teha, seda longituudselt hinnata, võib-olla isegi mitu hindamist teha, et miks te plaanisite selle niimoodi?
It was about time, actually, because we needed to. We decided to do this evaluation during the summer, and we didn't have the possibility to do it with students under 15, because then you need approval from parents, and that's a really long process to organize. So we had this 9th grades in Sweden, and after that period they go to the next step in the school system, so we lose them. So that's why we couldn't make this survey or this evaluation longer. And to answer the first question, when we built this program, we did it by the book, listening to the educational agency of Sweden in Sweden. They had written a lot of things about this, and from national and international studies about this interactive way of working. So we built it on evidence-based lessons or thinking, but we couldn't evaluate it before 2010.
Ma olen nõus, et selline aktiivne viis õpetamiseks on väga hea viis, aga see peidab ka endas teatud riske, et risk saada negatiivse hinnangu osaliseks. Et selle tõttu see õpetajate treenimine on väga-väga oluline, et õpetada selliseid neutraalseid viise reageerimiseks ja gruppi ohjamiseks, ja noored inimesed, kes on tundlikud, on kindlasti see võib olla probleem, et kuidas on Rootsi kogemus sellega, et kas on mingeid...
Yeah. First of all, as I mentioned, over 60% of the youth are drinking already in Sweden. So we are talking to a group of people who really know about what alcohol is about. And if we look at the first step or educational level in this program, we don't mention alcohol at all. It's only life skills approach. We don't discuss alcohol explicitly. We discuss other things like self-esteem and that kind of questions. So when you move up a stage, then you talk about alcohol. Is that no?
Ma mõtlen seda, et olukord, kus peab avaldama arvamust, on risk saada negatiivse hinnangu osaliseks teiste kaaslaste poolt, et kas selles osas on mingit, seda on vaadatud, et kas seda on juhtunud ja kas selliste olukordadega on võimalik tegeleda, et individuaalselt võib-olla hiljem, et ükskõik mis diskussiooni olukord, millest iganes, et see võib tuua kaasa selliste negatiivset suhtumist teiste poolt, et ma avaldan arvamust, teised ei pea seda õigeks ja
we haven't heard of anything like that, but of course it has happened, I guess so. But as Nicholas mentioned, we really need to debate these kind of questions in school and among the students, together with the teacher, of course. So it's, yeah.
Just comment. That's, I mean, to those kind of programs or this way of teaching to be interactive might appear to be simple. I mean, you give the kids they are doing the work. You are just supervising them or something. That's not true. I mean, you need proper training to do this in a good manner in order to handle these kind of situations. Because if you're teaching the kids and telling them that when we're debating those things, there's no right and wrong. We're discussing different things. And if something that is actually going contrary to what you expect, some that are liberal towards drugs or something, then you need to handle that in a good and respectful way to the kids. Otherwise, you are actually doing more harm than anything else. But the bottom line is you need training to do it, proper training to do it. But a good teacher can do wonders with this method.
Okay. Thank you, Per.
Thank you.